So, a lot of people in here are big fans of the 100. Fans of a lot of things, right? You know, there isn't just one fandom that we're all a part of. There are a bunch of them. What were you a fan of when you were a kid? What was your thing? Was there a cartoon that you loved? Did you love books, comics, music?
Yeah, I mean, I was always like a fan of X-Men when I was a kid, and I mean the Ninja Turtles as well. I really loved the first movie, which was like quite dark actually.
Yeah, really weird.
Yeah, I kind of like related mostly to Wolverine and Raphael, but then as I got like I guess through high school, I was really like a Dragon Ball Z fan. So I just watched DBZ Super, I think, just the other day. So that's cool. I still watch it. But right now, I'm obsessed with this tabletop game called Dominion. I don't know if anyone's played it. Yeah, but it's like phenomenal. So you should get it if you like that kind of stuff.
Well, you bring up Dragon Ball Z, I have to ask you, did you go down and say hi to Sean Shelby?
I haven't. No. I've been busy meeting everyone in here, which is great. But yeah, I love to. I should go and try and say hi.
We'll figure out a way to make that happen.
Yeah.
You're over 9,000 at this point yourself.
Thank you.
I'm glad that everybody got that. So the 100. Everybody's caught up, yeah.
I don't want to.
Just in general, I mean, a friend that I was walking over with, she was rolling, I was walking, we were great friends. Here she is. She told me that she wanted me to ask you what it's like playing a character that's endured so much loss.
It's, like I love Bellamy, and his loss isn't any greater than anyone else's on the show, but I mean, I guess he tends to really feel it a lot, so whenever I'm like playing him, it's kind of like a very heavy feeling to have, and you're putting on his clothes and his jacket, and so he's always kind of guilt-ridden. So yeah, I mean, I try and make light of it when we're on set, when I'm at home and stuff like that, but I enjoy that. As an actor, I think you like going to those darker depths and then really kind of exploring you as yourself as a person and also the character. So in I guess a masochistic way, it's quite enjoyable. Yeah.
Now, I'm sure that many of you have questions, yes?
Well,
raise your hands
so.
and let's start calling on you. For goodness, right here in the front, you go for it.
Hi, can you use 3 words to describe Bellamy's character in season 5?
Oh, in season 5. I actually asked 3 words to describe Bellamy in season 5.
I would recommend going with, oh man, dude.
Yeah, oh man, dude.
Be careful with those NDAs, right?
Yeah. Season 5. 3 words. I mean, I can explain how I feel about it. Not like it's going to be more than 3 words. I think that's okay.
I just didn't know if you didn't.
Yeah, I mean, well, with the time jump and all that, it's kind of strange for me to relearn a character. It's only been 6 months for us actors of time off, but they've had 6 years, so it's like they've experienced so much more time and they've changed a lot. So for me, it's kind of relearning the character in a way. He's kind of shifted a lot from who he used to be, and a lot of the things that he did were very situational for the last couple of seasons, and now like war is gone, and there's not much to do up there in space, so he just seems completely foreign to me right now, so I've got to try and figure out what's happening. But I think that maybe like the head and the heart stuff is more pertinent to him now than it was previously. Yeah.
Right there.
What's your favorite thing about Toronto?
Toronto, you know what, it's probably you guys, because I haven't seen much else. I mean, I've seen the hotel and I've seen the convention floor, but I've got to meet all you guys, so right now you guys are like the kings of Toronto for me. So, well done. Yeah, you've been wonderful, it's been a great fun, so yeah. I haven't seen that much yet, so you've set the bar quite high.
Next, right there.
Assuming that Bellamy and Octavia will reunite in season 5, do you think they'll be able to mend their relationship, or do you think Octavia will just keep holding the grudge over the success?
Well, I mean, Octavia's story for season 5 is pretty devastating, and I think in a way, I'm trying picking my words carefully here, like the tables may be turned. I mean, it's hinted at, her possible journey for season 5 at the end of 4. And if you continue that storyline in your head to where it's like the most gruesome and horrible thing, then maybe you'll get an idea of it. But that relationship is always going to be in trouble. But right now, from what I've been told, I haven't read it yet, but it's it's gonna shift a lot from the personality shift is quite drastic for both of them. But I look forward to having the chance at playing that position, the relationship again. So
that's one of the strengths of the show is characters allowed to change the dynamics and change the paradigm of relationships where they where they sit in the pecking order, as it were, and so on. I mean, has it been particularly fulfilling because you're getting to actually grow with the character and you're not just resetting to zero each time?
I mean, in a way, it resets to zero every time. Like the world's going to end after each season, kind of thing. But yeah, for me and Bellamy, it's been he's the character I've played the longest in my life, and I really love him, and I cherish like the moments that they give him, and they give him some pretty like devastating moments and some pretty beautiful things for him to do and horrible things. So yeah, as an actor, it's really wonderful to do. And that's like even back on that Octavia storyline, she's still in the world of like the ground and all the other like one crew and all that, whereas Bellamy's in a world where there's just 6 other people. So they're going to change quite a lot. But yeah, I really enjoy what they've done with Bellamy and what they've allowed me to do with him. So yeah, I love it.
Next question. Oh, right there in the blue.
Oh, hey, Clark.
There's been a lot of amazing characters that are no longer in the show. Is there one or any few that you really wish were still with you?
I think, I mean, I love working with Mike Beach and I love Pike, so that's contentious. But the one character that I think would have really changed things if I was still around would be Wells. Jaha, like his journey is crazy because he's lost his son. And if you could imagine what Jaha, like he was a good leader when he was up in space, and then he's not so good when he's on the ground. Once he's lost his son and his family, I think that the impact of Wells would have been amazing to have around. That pesky Charlotte. She's always up to things. So yeah, I think that's really interesting. Obviously, like everyone, like Alexa and Pike, especially that storyline in season 3 would have shifted everything, and it really changed the show in a big way, and it affected our fandom in quite a huge impact. So obviously you can't disregard Alexa as well.
Right here in the front, and then we'll get in.
Is there any characters that you ship on the show, like Bella?
I used to ship Jasper and Monty, but such is life. Yeah, no, I mean, I love watching those two work together, so yeah. And those two are like thick as thieves, really. They lived together for the last season, so.
Do many of you all on the show, I mean, do you find other of your castmates find themselves shipping people?
None of us do, because, it's most, like any relationship my characters had, the other actor ends up dying. And so if you actually like someone as a person, you're like, you best stay away from me. Yeah.
And let's see, who's you next?
For San Diego Comic-Con, you mentioned, like, you did a bit of questions on Twitter, and you mentioned you don't wear contacts. So, how do you do your filming then?
Well, I mean, I have like a slight astigmatism in my left eye, so it's not like, so my right eye's still good. I'm just doing scenes like this. You know what, I learned my lines before I got on set. That's crazy, I know. So that's how I do it. But there was one particular day, I think, when Bellamy was gagged and they were going to hand over Pike to the Coalition. And I remember Beach like standing up at the dropship with Chris, and I obviously knew it was Beach and Chris because it's written there, but I was like, they were so blurry to me, and I was like, reading the script like this. I was like, maybe it's time for me to go get my eyes checked. But yeah, I don't wear contacts because I hope that, because I don't like putting anything in my eyes, even when it's just eye drops. Yeah.
It gets really easy, but not for when you have an astigmatism.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm kind of like, hopefully I can stay away from that a little bit. Eat a lot of carrots. I don't know, does that work?
Letting things be a little bit fuzzy out there kind of helps performance. That's why I don't wear my glasses when I do these, because otherwise I'll have a panic attack. Right here.
Before I ask my question, could you give a shout out for my sister Jessica, who wanted to be here, but she was...
Yeah.
Are we recording right here?
Yeah.
Are we ready? In 3, 2, action.
Hey Jessica, I'm sorry you couldn't be here. May we meet again.
Yeah.
Then
Yes, I
give us
did.
a question. You had one yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
How did you feel about Bellamy's character arc in season 3, considering all the things he does with Pike, even though he seems reluctant at certain points?
I know that, like, he copped a lot of heat for it, and a lot of hate for it. But my job is to try and make that decision correct for him and truthful to him, and it's not necessarily like one that people agree with, and that's fine. And I could see why it was like pretty harsh for the killing of the 300 sleeping grounders, which I think is, pardon the pun, but overkill. But I can understand why Bellamy felt that way. I mean, Gina was blown up in Mount Weather, but more pointedly is there was the abandoning by the grounders at Mount Weather. And he was betrayed by them in a huge way. Bellamy single-handedly went into Mount Weather alone, released all the grounders in order for them to fight with them. And then instead, the grounders just packed up and left. And so he has no real reason to trust the word of the grounders at that time in season 3. So that's the way that I tried to process it. But, given time limits of the TV show and whatnot, what they could show and couldn't show, I understand why that storyline was maybe a little bit thin, and I didn't get the chance to really explain, either the same with Beach, to really explain our characters from the audience perspective. But that's not my job, is to try and play to you guys, but rather to play the truth in the story that I'm given. So I understand the hate, and I understand the frustration, because I was frustrated too. But all in all, I think it's pretty truthful to his character. I don't think he was brainwashed by Pike or anything like that. But, he's carried that guilt around with him. The radio in season 1, the killing the grounders season 3, pulling the lever in Mount Weather. That's like you're clocking up to about 1,000 deaths on your shoulder right there, and that's a lot to take in. So season 4 is nice to see him kind of make a change or try and positively impact. So yeah, I think it was a long time coming, and maybe there was too much death on his hands, but it's nice that he started to change, that's for sure. Yeah, thank you.
Right here.
Do you know how Bellamy's gonna feel about Maddie in season 5? Through this character, how you think he's gonna feel?
I don't even know if he could say yes or no, right?
I don't know if I can say yes or no, but I just know that it's epic. Yeah. No, I've had the chance to read some scripts and hear some ideas about what they're doing, but yeah, it's going to be great. I seriously think season 5 picks up and just moves so fast. I'm kind of blown away by how much story they're just burning through. The writers do this every season, and I'm like, where the hell are you going to go from here? I feel like you've painted yourself into a corner, and when that happens, they end up just kicking down the walls and creating a new room. So yeah, it's going to be cool. It's going to be interesting. I hope. For you guys, it is for me.
See us again back there. Yep. Oh, yes. Stand up. Stand up. We can't see you. Stand up.
There you are.
Help.
Who would I be?
Take somebody else's gig.
Yeah, no. I mean, I used to say Ellie, just because it'd be interesting. And I mean, Erica, when she played Ellie, she wouldn't breathe, so she'd inhale and then do all her lines, so she wouldn't have to breathe between her lines. But the character I'd love to play is Jaha, I think. He's just so nuts, man. And I love it. I love what Isaiah does with it, and he's just a powerhouse. I like Murphy as well, but no one can do it like Richie does. Yeah. Also, being Raven would be cool because she's always right and she's awesome, so that'd be a nice change for me. But yeah, no, I think Jaha to me is just so interesting. And the hats off to Isaiah for doing that. Yeah.
Right there.
The last season of the last episode when you went up into space,
Uh-huh.
how did you feel leaving your little sister? How did Bellamy feel leaving his little sister and his girlfriend behind?
Whoa. I mean,
He must have felt great, right?
you mean Gina? Yeah, she was dead. No, I mean, even in that, I thought it was really sad in the radio, doing the radio scene. I wish I did a better job, honestly, after watching it again. But that was like really special, her saying that she loved him. I don't think it necessarily gave him the strength to think that she was going to be okay. And it's, it's a tricky thing to play, especially, just at the end, all I have to say is, if we don't survive, she died in vain, and we can't let that happen. It's a hard line to try and convey everything, not just about Clark, but about his sister as well. So I think that will be touched upon, and his struggles with that in season 5. But yeah, I thought the finale for season 4 was great. I thought everyone did a great job, and the crew was just phenomenal. And the amount that we tried to get shot during that time period was just so intense. And the way it turned out, I thought it was really cool. I think it's one of the best episodes we've done. But the stakes were so high, and the clock was ticking. So it's kind of hard to, give air and time to those emotions that needed them. And I think in season 5 you'll get to see a bit of that, the fallout from that. Yeah.
Right here on the aisle.
If you could have any other element from any other CW show, what would it be and why?
Oh man, if it were me, it would be the ice cream from Supergirl and Flash.
Oh,
Yeah,
I haven't seen too much of it. I mean,
I was just buying you time.
I mean, the one that I've probably seen the most of is iZombie. So eating brains and taking pills. I mean, Rose and I have worked together before, and she's awesome.
A riot, man.
Yeah, she's awesome, and I think Raoul does a great job, and Malcolm and Anders, they're all phenomenal people. So yeah, if you could eat brains and then take over, the personality, that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, that's probably the one. Yeah.
Let's see, and back toward the back. I think striped shirt. Yes.
Sure. Yeah. Stand up.
As you wish.
So in the season finale, you see Bellamy literally picking up the baton.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wondering if you see Bellamy being a leader for those 7 people in space, whether they recognize him for all of the things that he did for him on the ground, or how they really share that responsibility with such a small group.
It is such a small group of people up there in space, and the picking up of the baton in, the metaphorical way. But I mean, that whole sequence, the finale is about Clark trying to tell Bellamy that he is a good leader, he just needs to be a bit more pragmatic. That's kind of where his story had been leading to all of season 4, is that he's been, pretty rash, and he's been dictated by the way he feels, and in order to make, in terms of making decisions. So he's become a much more well-rounded leader, using his head and his heart. I know it's only 6 other people he's got to boss around, but hopefully they all work together, and his leadership and the true person that he is kind of comes through. That's the tricky bit for me with season 5, is trying to figure out who Bellamy is, and the only real reference point I have is the flashbacks where he was just like a good older brother trying to, do his duty and become a good soldier. So that kind of hard reset for me is the thing that I've got to think about during season 5. And it does have a lot to do with the head and the heart speech that Clark gave him. Yeah.
How long did you have to work with a speech coach to lose the Aussie accent?
No, well, actually, there wasn't a lot. I think me and EJ maybe had during the pilot. I feel like the Canadian actors actually have to work hard to get rid of their Canadian accent because it's so close. But in Australia, we grew up with a lot of American TV. In fact, probably more American TV than Australian. There's a few things that you can do, but it does. I try and do a different accent for each character that I do, and Bellamy in particular is very much his own entity. So the way that kind of came about is that I was just really hungover on set one day, and then that was it. Yeah, no. I spent hours perfecting my craft.
If you grew up watching that X-Men animated series, all of those actors are Canadian.
Oh yeah. I think AJ Alessandro, he was on something that I used to watch as well.
On Spider-Man, maybe?
I don't know. I can't remember. But yeah.
We'll come back to him.
Yeah.
Right over there.
So my question is, when was the moment when Bellamy had given up on Clark returning in the finale? What was the moment like for you to film it and to know, yeah, this is done? there's no point of returning anymore?
Like I think, like having to walk away and close the doors. I mean, I guess that he was hoping as the doors were shutting that she would turn up. But I think like she's always been like that. She's always self-sacrificed, and there was part of him that knew that that was going to happen. But I feel like really sorry for him that that's happening. And you know, Raven's like, come on, we got to go, and none of them want to actually do it. I think there's a huge part of denial as well, and just even the fact that like they haven't heard from anyone, you know, for ages. It breaks his heart almost every day. It's something that he can't think about. But yeah, filming that, like even being on that set and it being like 4 years of work, it's kind of like usually something will come through with something. But and I mean even that moment when they're in the spaceship and the ring isn't lighting up. You know, that's when he thinks he's really failed. And then it does light up. It's, all through it, it's just all terrible. Terrible. Yeah.
Right here on the arm.
Hey.
If you could steal a role from an actor who was in movies before you were born, what actor would be in what role?
Like stealing. I don't like stealing. I like fucking play a role. I don't want to take anyone else's work.
Someone asked a question like that to Felicia Day yesterday, and she said, people doing those screwball comedies from the 30s.
Oh yeah. Do you know her? I watched Elephant Man. Is that Jonathan Hurt? Yes. Yeah. I watched that, and then like for like weeks after, I was always doing my Elephant Man impersonation. And I just thought he was phenomenal in that. So maybe that's really obscure. That's just what came to my head. If I had some more time, I'd probably think on it a little more.
He's got such a distinct persona. You watch much of John Hurt doing anything. I mean, he could be reading the phone book.
Yeah.
You find someone to do the voice.
It's pretty amazing. But I don't know. I'll try and get an answer before we finish this panel. Not that I won't be thinking about everyone else's questions, but I mean,
He's got two brains.
yeah.
The Morley with two brains.
Oh, probably like Bruce Lee actually. If I was that good. If I was that good.
I'm a Jeet Kune Do guy.
Oh
so,
yeah. I'm a no kudo guy.
Yeah, well, for like 5 months.
Yeah.
But so, what is it about Bruce Lee that you love so much?
I just like I was Karate Kid and Big Boss, and I had Bruce Lee just up on my wall. It's just that he was like so slick and cool and quick, and it was just, he just was always pulling the cool moves. I mean, I just grew up watching that stuff, but not actually participating in it, obviously. But yeah, if I could do that stuff, or Jackie Chan, like Drunken Master, my God, ridiculous.
I still want him to do a Drunken Master 3.
Yeah.
I don't care what the premise is. Just don't care.
He's just drunk.
Anything.
He's just singing the bar.
Well, that's a Police Story remake. But now we're just talking about martial arts movies. Right back there. Yeah.
So, from season 5 to season 6 for so long, do you think the director's going to let you keep your beard?
Well, we've been shooting already. So, and this is what's happened.
Still shooting. So.
Yeah, I kind of I shot myself in the foot, to be honest. I was like, I should have a beard and you should let me shave my head. And they got to work and they're like, yeah, go for it. I was like, what? My hair? And so, then I was like, so they told me that, and then, I blushed, and it took me a couple of days to, go, all right, I'm gonna shave my head. Cool. And then I turned up to the makeup trailer, and I sat down, and hair was there, and I was like, so are we shaving my head? And they're like, no, Jason called 15 minutes ago, you're not cutting your hair. And I was like, oh, damn it! But inside I was like, thank God. So no shaved head just yet.
Let's see, in the Steven Universe shirt right there.
Do you have a favorite episode thus far?
Thus far, I really liked episode 410, the Conclave. I mean, we lost a lot of cool people in it, but just the fact, that episode with all the fighting and the rain towers and all the death, it was just like it's just crazy. Like our crew was just working overtime, and like it turned out really well. Like our stunt team are amazing. Like Stunts Canada and Marshall Virtue and his team were just great. Like we don't have that much time to prep for episodes, and what they managed to do, and Dean White, who's like basically he's one of our executive producers now, and he does maybe like 4 to 6 episodes a season. He's just a machine. So I think that episode, from that point of view, was one of my favorite. And seeing Marie just go out there and kick ass, and there was like a whole bunch of our stunties that got to play in front of the camera and like actually have their faces seen this time. It was really cool. Like the stunts guys are like a really big part of our show. So that was really cool for them to showcase their work. Yeah. And I also got to work with Zach. That was cool too. Yeah.
Right there. Yes, you. Yeah, I'm sorry. Her, and then you.
Is there a scene that you filmed that you wish didn't get cut?
Oh, hang on, wait. Yes, well, the scene that it didn't get cut. I mean, not many of my scenes get cut entirely, but in terms of the show, I mean, they've managed to they just kind of have to do storytelling in whatever capacity they can do. So the fact gets trimmed pretty early on nowadays in the editing, like script editing process. Yeah, I haven't maybe I just haven't been paying attention. But there haven't been too many things with things that I've done that have been cut. Maybe there are scenes with takes that I felt better on, but that's part of the course really when it comes to, working in film and TV. So yeah, there's nothing I'm too butthurt about or anything like that. Yeah.
Sorry about the mix-up there. You handsome, stunning man.
How would you compare your relationship with Marie to the brother's relationship of Bellamy and TV?
Well, I'd say Marie's more like Bellamy than I am. But we've definitely become over the years more brother-sister kind of stuff. But Marie's she's from Thunder Bay. She's like a real tough chick, with her drums and her motorbike, and I'm playing Dominion and video games and stuff. Yeah. No, but it's great. I love working with Marie. She's just such a little dynamo. Dynamo? Yeah. Yeah.
Right here in the front.
Hi. So can you describe the atmosphere for us when you all kind of reunite at the beginning of the season?
Of a season? Yeah, I mean, it's like going back to school, really, and a school that you really like going to. So, but it's funny, you go back and the crew's there and the cast is there. For us personally, when we reunite, it's awesome because it's summer in Vancouver. We're all either going to the beach or playing tennis, and then you kind of forget how grueling it gets by the end of the season. You're like, man, I could do this forever. Cut to 3 months later and we all just want to kill ourselves. No. But yeah, no, it's always a treat to go back to those guys, and I haven't been on a show this long before in my life, and there's a reason we all still get along, and it's like family, which is awesome. It's really awesome, actually. Yeah.
Back there in the back, yes.
You said you were a huge X-Men fan. If you could play any superhero, who would you be why?
Any superhero. I mean, it changes constantly, all the time. But the one superhero, I guess, if you could call him that really I find really sad but interesting is Dr. Manhattan. Just that his battle with existentialism and what it is to be human, and this dysfunction that's within him and his sadness. That to me is really, really interesting. Also, I would like to be huge and blue. I guess. You know what I mean? You know what I mean.
Oh, God. What I think you're trying to say is, in that Watchmen movie, Billy Crudup sure made a big, lasting impression.
Yeah. Maybe him.
I'm a hopeless shill, so if any of you are interested in characters like Dr. Manhattan, guest at the show, Tom King, currently writing Batman for DC, wrote a really wonderful Vision miniseries for Marvel last year that is, if you're looking for that kind of story, really wonderful. Selling my friends comic books. Back to you guys. Green hair, right there.
Taxing, emotionally taxing?
Other than the entire show.
Yeah, cool. It was probably the scene finding out when Octavia was dead, or thought she was dead. I mean, it's really hard to walk into a scene and be like, yeah, well, my sister's gonna like get there before you, and they're like, psych, she's dead. Like it's like a Stanislavski shift or a Chekhov shift where it's like being tough to then just crying as hard as you can. And that one, it was taxing because, like, one, to get to that emotional state, two, because I didn't think I got there, and so then all this self-doubt started creeping in, and you kind of sit there, and you're like, you go home, and you're like, I don't think I did it, and I don't think I got there, and so that particular scene was really taxing. And I know that like I wasn't even in the episode that much, but that was like, it's one of those scenes you get as an actor, you're like, okay, this is going to be a real test, and that was a struggle, that one, in particular. But all the other ones are like getting the shit. The crap kicked out of me. Sorry.
We're going to get a couple more questions. A question for all of you. How many of you have not gotten a chance to come up and see Bob up in the autograph hall yet? Bunch of folks? Okay. Ordinarily, we would go a little bit longer. I'd like to take 2 more questions and make it so that everybody possible can see him in the autograph hall before we close out today. Does that sound fair? Yeah. All right. 2 best questions in the room, yes?
I have to rush back and get on a plane, so I'll try and see as many of you as I can.
Absolutely. Whoever is the most enthusiastic and wants it the most. Wants it the most? I'm sorry, I can't see much of it. Oh, you in the front. Yes, I'm sorry. Oh, I meant you. I meant you and then you. The 2 of you.
Okay, hi.
Glad sisters.
What are you saying?
I mean, work it out amongst yourselves. It's whatever you want. No, you go. No, you. No. You're standing. Go for it.
Okay, since you like to play video games, what do you think of the Fallout series? Since it's like Canada Fan Expo, the same atmosphere.
Oh, which one?
The Fallout.
Fallout. I haven't actually played Fallout.
Oh,
yeah. No, I've been.
He's busy living it.
Yeah, no.
On screen.
I guess I've been playing a lot of Diablo lately. Yeah. And then Dominion's taken over my entire life. I bought the game and then bought 5 expansion packs. And so I was like, yeah, my house is just stacks of Dominion games and I'm going to get more.
All right, and our last question right here.
If you could give Bellamy any life advice, what would it be?
I actually think that I've got more to take from him than I can give him. I mean, his resilience, like, the amount of times he's done so many terrible things but still manages to try and get himself up and prove himself to be a good person, and how resilient he is, that's something that I can't fathom within myself. So that's something that he could teach me. I mean, I definitely don't have his resilience. If I tried to give him some life lessons, it's kind of crazy. I think you just learn them as you get older, If I was his age and in that situation, he probably wouldn't have dealt with it. And saying, like you'll learn in time seems like a platitude that really seems empty. So, I don't think there's much I could teach him, but I love him. I love him dearly, and I hope that he's around for a while.
I've got just a couple little program notes. In this room at 4:15, David Ramsey from Arrow. 2:30 down in room 102, Anthony Stewart Head. He's going to be back in the autograph hall. Before we close out, I realized I should feel bad because I was shilling my friend who writes Batman's work, and I wasn't shilling Batgirl and the Birds of Prey, written by Julie and Sean Benson, who run the 100. Yeah. What is it like working with these wonderful ladies? I'm going to take a panorama photo of everybody while you talk.
Like, I mean, Julie and Sean are amazing. Like, our whole writing team is awesome. Sean is on set at the moment, so it's always, you're in safe hands when those girls are around. I do need to say that our writers room and our writing team and Jason, those guys are the ones that drive the show, and we just get to, lucky enough, play their words. So, I should give credit where it's due, and those guys are amazing. So,
to give credit where it's due, this show would not be the explosive success that it's been without all of you making it the happening.
Yes, thank you.